Namaste, Star Family. Welcome to the Matrix Oracle. My name is Audrey. This is your cosmic weather forecast for this full moon in Scorpio in Western Astrology, May 12, 2025. So let's look at what's going on. Okay, busy. We're seeing first that there is obviously the opposition between the sun and the moon, and then there's this involvement in that what is called mystical rectangle. What does that mean, this mystical rectangle? If you've been following this page, you know I am all about illustration through the embodiment, through the heart field. And this energy, the way that I can express it the best is the effect of the pressure cooker. There's a lot of growth, but it will be all internal. What I mean by this growth being internal is that on the outside, others are not going to necessarily notice what shifts, what growth is going on. So don't expect for this full moon energy others to be able to read you, okay? Because they're going to be busy with all the rest of the energies going on there, okay? Before we deep dive further into the exploration of this full moon energy, we have to remember what was the collective intention for this new moon. What I channeled was a lot of expansion of our light and our imagination. The more we were focused on nurturing our light, the more we were able to expand our vision about what reality could be for us. So for 28 days, that's what we're learning. And here we are after 14 days experiencing the full moon energy, that culmination, to understand in greater ways how to expand our imagination. What's interesting is that the sun is here in the 8th house with Uranus, and here we have the moon in the 2nd house. What I feel very strongly here is the integration of the shadow. And I'm getting a confirmation of all those feels through the sacred geometries that surround this mystical rectangle, especially the one that is inside. So you can see here South Node Moon aiming at Chiron wound on the descending line. This is the yod, this is the finger of God, this is the universe tickling you, okay? And testing your alignment in your surroundings. That means like you might be outgrowing your environment, your work, situations, events, people, whatever. But the universe tends to really test us by being in the same pool of energy and showing how we are now responding differently because we've addressed some of the shadows that were limiting us. Let me illustrate the integration of the shadows. So for instance, there's some people that may respond, when they are feeling threatened in maybe what they're used to or their desire, whatever, their security, with anger, okay? So that is a response from the shadow self. Now, when you integrate it is when you're asking yourself, hey, why am I actually losing my temper here? What am I trying to protect? Why am I trying to prove? Why do I feel defensive? So when you're starting to understand where you're coming from with a certain reaction according to others, especially here, then you can integrate your shadow. You don't need to judge it. You don't need to separate yourself from, what you're experiencing or what you're feeling. You just need to acknowledge it, heal it, and take it whole. If you're struggling with the integration of your shadow because the wound here might still be too tender, okay, too raw, know that there is here another finger of God from Jupiter to the moon and still Chiron to the moon. So this energy saying, hey, pay attention to your subconscious. And with this placement of Jupiter, there's a lot of synchronicities. So what I would suggest, if you have a lack of clarity as far as your wounds and how to solve them, ask the universe, Ask confirmations, yes and no, or maybe a series of numbers that can help you get that feedback, that echo from the universe, because you are working deeply with this full moon energy into your subconscious. If some of you are struggling with those energies, I'm going to channel some messages from the shadow self for all 12 zodiac signs. I'm not sure yet if I'll be able to put it at the end of this forecast, if it will fit. If it doesn't, then you'll only be able to get it on YouTube, and that's that. Know that this process is going to truly help you weave the reality that is in resonance with your soul's oath and purpose. This is where we see Mars in opposition to Pluto retrograde and forming this half square with Mercury at the apex. Remember, there is weaving of your vibration into alignment with your highest timeline at this time. So as you integrate your shadow, this is the way through. This is the breakthrough and the way in, to allow yourself to not feel that you are a victim of your reality, but that you are a master of it. That's it for the forecast, my dear ones. I'm going to hop on the 12 zodiac signs. Hopefully I can fit in here in Instagram. Otherwise, please make sure you check out my YouTube. And remember to sprinkle some love. Bye. All right, let's get those messages from the shadow self. For my dear Scorpio first, okay, because we are experiencing this full moon in Scorpio in Western astrology. So let's see your messages from your shadow self, my dear ones. It starts with truth. See your light, know your power, have the courage to walk your truth. Beautiful. Have the courage to walk your truth. Then we have deceit and the angel of balance. Okay, that is a perfect illustration of everything we've shared. Here your shadow self is saying, when you're feeling out of balance, out of alignment with your true self, when you're losing, for example, we had the example of your temper, okay? Know that this is not the truth of yourself. Go and deep dive deeper into the shadow, into the unknown of your reaction, or what throws you off alignment. Go and seek out inside that situation what is the truth of it all. Because ultimately what you'll get is the greatest reward, because you'll be able to walk your path with authenticity. You'll be able to truly see yourself and know your power. After Scorpio, we have Sagittarius. What are your messages from your shadow self? Let's see. Okay, seems 2 in 1. All right. So let's see what we have for you. We have first, vibration. Your vibration is being raised to higher levels. You are connected to cosmic intelligence. And the energies are interesting. Envy and door to romance. So maybe Sagittarius, there's something that is caging your heart, and it's more, I think, this effect of comparison. When we compare ourselves, we envy. We think that's, someone is having something and we can't have it because they have it. I would say here the suggestion, especially because there was, with that yod involving Jupiter, a lot of synchronicities. When you witness, for example, in your reality, in social media, whatever, when you witness something that you truly want, that others have, I want you to flip the script and realize that you being able to witness something you want is actually a sign of alignment that is coming your way. This will shift tremendously your vibration. Capricorn. Okay, Capricorn, what do we have for you? Okay, I feel like this one and this one. Let's see. And a little bit more. Messages from your shadow self. Okay, this one. Interesting. There seems to be some choices here. Okay, there was like this feeling in both my shuffling. I felt like I needed to make a choice. Okay, we'll see how that aligns. Meditation. Your way to take the high road is going to be through meditation. Okay, so I'm feeling for some of you, your shadow self is like, don't react, first observe. Okay, meditation. Take a moment to connect to source through quiet reflective meditation. Okay, that's going to help you, my dear Capricorn, here for this full moon. Oh yes, and then you have appreciation with the world. Interesting, because the world is also the energy of Saturn in the major arcanas in the tarot, and here this is associated with your planet. So there's like a master teaching of So here there's a master teaching of your planet, the planet of action and reaction, you know, karma, knowing that if you do this, this happens. And I feel like you'll have greater appreciation for yourself when you're not right away feeling like you have to defend yourself or prove your truth, okay? There's something strong here. Appreciate who you are, appreciate what others bring, even sometimes if it's just the triggers, because when you appreciate, okay, then what you'll attract will start shifting. Slowly but surely. Hi Aquarius, let's look at your messages from your shadow self. Okay, so what do you need to hear at this time? All right. Okay, so we have first, reflection. See all aspects of yourself through the reflection of the one who mirrors your hidden self. Very interesting. Some of you, I feel there could be some mirror work that needs to occur, okay, or that's going to occur through this full moon energy. Then we have the woman holding a heart and the journey. You know, with this, I really feel like for this full moon energy, your shadow self is saying to you to see yourself through the eyes of love. Have more love for the process of your journey. Have more love for maybe the time that it's taking as you're learning how to perceive yourself and others through the mirror effect. Okay, knowing that a part of yourself is a part of what is being mirrored to you. So there's a lot here as far as integration for you, Aquarius, that is part of your journey. Allow your feminine to guide you. And when I said, like, some of you, maybe there's powerful moments that can be manifested in your life through looking at yourself in the mirror and wiring those powerful affirmations. I feel that some of you, you don't realize, but looking into your own eyes, it's connected to your optical nerve, and that means connected to all your Aquarian brain, okay, but all the network of your neurons, which is helping you wire more love, more patience, more of your goals, but knowing that everything is going to take the time it needs to take, as this is overall, this is a journey. It's not about the destination. It's about who you're becoming through that process. Hi, Pisces. Welcome to your messages from your shadow. Wow. From the bottom for sure. That's something, if you didn't know, Pisces, when you're playing with oracle cards and tarot cards, the bottom card is the shadow. Okay? All right, let's see what you have. You have freedom. Follow your heart and nurture your soul with love and freedom to grow. I love this for you. Then we have men holding a coin and rest and rejuvenation. You know, I feel like here is maybe realizing that some of the freedom that you're looking for is not so much by overdoing, but more by bringing a balance of yin and yang, making sure that you rest and rejuvenate. This brings you also this feeling of freedom that, for example, we're looking for when we want to manifest money. You know, a lot of us, that when we claim we want money, is to have the freedom to do X, Y, and Z. And especially, you know, even resting or not having to go to work or not working as much is a part of that freedom. So it's here showing you, Pisces, that maybe if you're allowing yourself more rest and more balance in your life, you'll find already the emotion of the freedom that you're seeking, maybe related to money or any type of abundance. Hi Aries, welcome to your messages from your shadow self. So let's see what we have for you. Okay, and I feel this card for you. I just don't even want to shuffle. This looks so powerful. I don't know. You see that? I don't know what it is. Well, I see. Here it is. Inner alchemy. Inner alchemy is achieved when you react to fear with love. Oh, you are under a strong energy of that. What do you call the mystical rectangle that we talked about? But I'm not surprised because there is a lot of like that Aries placement there that is being triggered. There's like there's the Chiron wound that's there. Okay, so we talked about this, and let's see what your shadow wants to tell you about this inner alchemical process. Ooh, look. All those doors, adjacent possibilities, and door to value. Okay, all right. So here, Aries, it's like telling you, choose the door that's going to give you the greatest value. But value of yourself, because there's many ways to respond, there's many ways to react, there's many ways to decide to do X, Y, and Z. Really ponder on what is going to give you the greatest value. Not necessarily the fastest, okay? I feel there's a yacht energy here. Just, okay? Be mindful of this, because I really feel that when you choose what gives you the best growth, that's what your shadow self is saying. It's like, this is the best value, okay? This is what your soul is really seeking for, is longing for. Is not so much those 3D desires and material things. It's more like who you're becoming. So choose wisely here. Many options, many opportunity, and a very powerful alchemy going on at this time. Hi Taurus, welcome to your messages from your shadow self. I felt it here. Okay, and let's see what we have for you with this deck of cards. Okay, we have transcendence. Transcend your mind's limitations and allow your soul's light to truly shine. Beautiful. Wow. And then angel of strength and strategy. You know, here, my dear Taurus, I really feel that there's power in your writing, in your journaling, maybe in your to-do list, in your affirmation. There's something here as if there's, with this full moon energy, your shadow self is saying, you know, the things that you want to manifest, you might not know how you're going to manifest them. But if you're not going to take the time and effort to put it down for yourself, then you're lessening your chances of achieving it. Okay, so transcend the blocks, maybe the ego blocks, whatever those blocks are that keep you from, you know, really doing this energy work of putting your goals down, what you truly want, what you're really wanting in this life, because that's going to be part of your shadow's integration. Hi Gemini, welcome to your messages from your shadow. You know, it's very interesting. The way the cards are coming up from the shadow is just so subtle. I feel like I want to share this with you in particular, Gemini, maybe because of that duality that you're already experiencing with your zodiac archetype. Okay, that might be something you want to pay attention, because you have that light and dark aspect to yourself. I don't know why I'm also hearing acidic and alkaline, so just like the chemistry inside of your body. Maybe there's something with your nutrition, we'll see. Blue flame. Connect to the blue flame, which is the light of pure love within you. There's something about fire and nurturing the love that you are, and that could be why I felt this nutrition with alkaline and acidic food. So watch your pH, okay? Watch your nutrition, nurture the love that you are. That's something that your shadow self wants to share with you. That might be also realizing that this type of chemistry could be what triggers a certain reaction versus another. Let me give you an example. When I stopped caffeine, I saw how the process of the brain, when it is under caffeine, it goes into those brain waves that are closer to, you know, beta, which is where we experience a lot of fight or flight energies and experiences. It was very hard for me to grow out and transcend some of my wounds, some of my trauma, with being still in that vibrational frequency, that state. Okay, so there's something here that is very important as far as nurturing habits that are calming to your nervous system, that bring neutralization. Okay, so some of you could be the balance of pH. Then we have blossoming abundance, and the second chakra, archangel area. Oh, I love this, because you know it's here, it's blossoming. There's something that your shadow is saying when you're paying attention to all the love that you are, when you're nourishing, okay, with the sacral, you're nourishing yourself in ways that are promoting growth. Then you will see the results slowly show themselves. You know, it just feels like, especially here, we're in that spring energy in the northern hemisphere, but wherever you are, that will correspond. But there's like this showing signs of some of the rewards, you know, some of the beauty that you're going to experience for you, my dear Gemini. Hi, Cancer. Let's look at your cards. Messages from your shadow self. So we start with advancement. I like that. A strong energy is propelling you forward. Follow the stirrings of your heart. What I heard is very interesting, is watch people pulling your heartstrings, okay? The one that knows how soft and tender your heart is. Then we have caring connection and the woman holding a coin. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, your shadow self is saying something about those strings. Maybe some of the strings attached are the material plane. Maybe some of you, there is still an attachment to how, for example, in a relationship, how your soulmate, your ultimate person would look like, be like. She needs to be tall, this high, or, you know, like certain like material desires that your shadow self is telling you to release at this time, because it's limiting you from receiving what is truly meant for you. Yes, very interesting here. I feel like I want another card. First chakra, Archangel Michael. If this is because you lack a feeling of security, just remember there were certain reactions that I mentioned in the collective energy, and it was mainly I used anger, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be anger. It could be fear here, okay? Any type of fear you're experiencing that would lead you to choose a particular partnership, connection, because it's, or maybe some of you, it's out of like wanting validation or not feeling rejected. Watch needing that confirmation, validation from others, my dear Cancer. Your advancement is to actually detach and release some of those strings. They come with attachment, they come with a karmic contract. And I think that some of you know this, but maybe you needed to hear it, and this is what your shadow wants to share. Hi, Leo. Let's get some messages from your shadow self at this time. So what do you need to hear? Okay. And another one here. Messages for Leo from their shadow self. Perfect. Okay, so you have stillness. Reflect on this moment with love, kindness, and compassion. And then we have attachment and the thinking woman. Maybe some strings attached, but especially from the mind. Certain things you tell yourself. There could be some upgrades here that are going on for you, especially with the latest Mercury, okay, transit. There was a lot of energies that were pointing at both Chiron and Mercury. So maybe some of you, this is activating a wound in your relationship, and it's asking you, my dear Leo here, to be still. As you stay still, what your shadow is showing me right now, as I'm closing my eyes, it's almost like if I didn't close my eyes, I couldn't really see it because I needed to feel it. And sometimes to feel, we see it in moments of intimacy, for example, we close our eyes so we can be more in the body. I feel that you're too much in your mind. When you start being more in your body, you will have the answers that you're seeking. That's what it's saying here. Your shadow self is saying, get out of your mind and be more in your body. Hi, Virgo. Whoa. Welcome to your messages from your shadow self. Okay. We'll look at this. Oh, I feel like this is yours. We have observation. Expand your consciousness by observing the divine matrix of life. I don't know why, but when I read the divine matrix of life, I really felt as some of you, if you are into astrology, it might be a time to look into your personal chart. Okay, there's something that might be going on that might be worth looking into. And some of you, it might be just if you have never looked into your natal chart, that could start to awaken a certain perception. And I'll tell you, like, even people that don't know anything about astrology, they report to me, like, just looking at it gives them some feedback, energy feedback. So I feel like there's something like that for you. Witnessing things and letting it give you feedback. Then you have the garden and the gate, and action. Ooh. Okay, I didn't pull it reverse, so just so you know, there's something about maybe being more observant. It's telling you act, but observe before you do. You know what? It's almost as if I have a silly illustration for you, but that's the first one that comes into my mind, Virgo. I sometimes play with visualization when I am working out. As far as like, am I able to do this amount of repetition with this amount of weight? Okay. So sometimes what I do is that I close my eyes. I'm not doing the exercise, but I'm imagining myself doing it. And I have already set a goal amount of the weight and the reps. And then I imagine myself counting it. And I remember, like, it was yesterday one time, aiming for 5 and seeing as I'm like rehearsing it, how around 4 my energy was going to struggle and I was going to really need to lock my feet and use more of my lower body when I was actually doing an upper body. I was like pulling down some weight. And this is exactly what happened. Okay, so there's something here about maybe certain options that you have in life that if you take the time to observe, maybe you close your eyes and imagine yourself taking that action and see how that feels, and versus this action and see how that feels and see what is most in alignment with you, because this is going to help you integrate a part of you that may have been stuck in non-action, procrastination, or just daydreaming and just not feeling like your dreams are manifesting. Report to me, my dear Virgo, if that's you, because I really feel like some of you, this is going to be a powerful tool of manifestation. Hi, Libra. Let's get some messages from your shadow self. Okay, I feel like this one was sticking out. All right. And what else? All right, so messages for my dear Libra. Interesting, beautiful card. See the circle? Yeah. Inner worlds. Your external world is a reflection of your inner world. Interesting, Libra. And then we have door to personal healing and happiness with the 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. The This is so interesting because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, in the astrology part, we have Libra in direct opposition, obviously, of Aries, where we have the Chiron. So this is, we have the rising there. There's something about you being able to self-express in greater ways. There's something about healing your throat chakra, healing how you talk about your reality, and realizing that the things that you magnetize to yourself, they're a reflection of something going on in your inner world. So I don't know why I'm hearing this, but it's saying like, don't systematically click off when something you feel like you don't like, okay? Because I feel that it could be communication from your shadow self that is trying for you to get, your shadow self is trying to get your attention on a certain healing of your voice, healing of your power, healing maybe of aligning to something that you truly want, but there's a separation that is going on, okay? So your shadow self, my dear Libra, is wanting you to stay at times with the discomfort, to observe the whole process, because this is what helps you stay in alignment. You know, it's that whole like horizon where the rising comes and into that descending line. This is crucial for you. I feel like this is, there's something maybe from your past lives, because there is the south node and the moon, and then the rising aiming straight at the Chiron. This is going to break through the yod energy. You're going to be able to have a breakthrough aha moment about certain things. You didn't allow yourself to, I'm hearing feel, that was causing maybe a certain limitation in your throat. Let me get another card for that limitation. Of course, indecision. Should I go or should I stay? Should I do this or that? Yes. Okay, so some of you here, Libras, you're going to get a little bit more of that clarity from letting your shadow self guide you into taking some more time to self-reflect with what is magnetized to you.